He is a 6-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, a 2-time Bassmaster winner, the 2021 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, the amazing Feider-Man, Seth Feider, joins me this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Okay, so we're going to do this again. Welcome one, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course my humpers. Welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 164th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope you are having a very, very happy hump day and a great week. Moment of total honesty. I'm actually recording this a week before. God willing, I am right now on the water catching fish for new episodes of Facts of Fishing TV. So hopefully that's all going the right direction. But rather than skip a podcast, I recorded one in advance. I got you guys. Don't worry. I'll never let you down. Speaking of a week ago, I want to talk about last week's podcast before we get into this week's podcast, because great show with Brandon Polnick. We talked about UFOs. We talked about lumberjack, and we talked about bass fishing. We talked about a lot of things. It was a great show, but specifically, I want to talk about the opening of that show. So I took a few minutes to talk about Grayson Murray, the 30-year-old professional golfer who took his life just a few weeks ago. And that was a different topic. That was a different direction. And sometimes on a show like this, you wonder if that's the right thing to do. But basically, we just talked about how the world suffers. I mean, everybody knows somebody. Maybe that somebody's themselves. But there's a lot of people that deal with anxiety, that deal with depression. And there's some of the people that you would never, ever imagine are dealing with that. And it feels like, especially for us guys, nobody really talks about it a lot. And I just took a few moments to talk about it. And I'll be honest, I've never been prouder of this podcast. The amount of messages, the amount of comments, the amount of DMs, a lot of DMs from people just direct messaging me to say, hey, I battle this every day. Or my brother battles it. My sister, my friend, this. I mean, we all have people who are battling it. And I want to thank you guys, because I've never been more proud of this podcast than getting those messages. Because, as I said, when you talk about a subject like that on this show, you wonder, like, do people just, I mean, do they not want to hear about it? But for you guys to respond the way you did makes me really proud of this little show that we pump out each and every Wednesday. So thank you all. And let's continue that trend of all of us just trying to make the world a little bit better. I mean, nobody can make everything better, but you can all make everything just a little bit better by going out of your way to make sure you tell your loved ones how you feel about them. You know, I mean, that goes without saying, but also people that you see every day that maybe they know you're part of their life, but let's be honest, we all fall into that trap of, hey, how are you? And by the time that person even answers, how are you? You're walked away. Take a moment and be kind to a total stranger. It can totally change somebody's day. Everybody's got a battle. You don't always see what it is. So let's make the world a little bit better just by doing that. And you've made my world. I mean, I'm a prime example. All those messages and all those people saying that the few minutes you took really mattered, that made my day better. So it's already working. So let's keep the goodness going, because sometimes the world needs to be reminded that goodness matters, especially the internet. I mean, the internet just wants to talk about controversy and bull crap. But sometimes the real crap is what matters. So let's just keep making things better. This week's show is another good one. It lives up to its billing. It is awkward and it is honest. and it is with a guy who I love to hang with on the Elite Series, and he's one of the most popular dudes on tour. And this conversation is a tougher one for him to have, I would imagine, because he's having his worst season maybe since even joining the Elite Series. But it kind of shows how good of a person he is, because he did not hesitate one bit when I said, do you want to do a podcast together? And I thank him for that. So without further ado, let's travel all the way to Newmarket, Minnesota, and hook up with the amazing Feider-Man, Seth Feider. Seth Feider, we are on the good internet. We had your IT tech check it out, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Mercer?
Nothing, just doing podcasts and fishing. What about yourself?
You been catching a few?
Yeah, it's good now. Now is when I don't want any. I wish our tournaments were done. Like, I wish our season would go from January to. I mean, I'll do one first couple of weeks in May. After that, we should be home, because it's the time of year where you're like, this is why I live here, because the fish are dumb, and we got some dumb seasons here, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Isn't it weird when you leave the South, where everybody's like, why would you? I remember Kelly Jordan once said to me, "What bass opener? Why would you have a bass closer?"
Yeah.
And then you come home and they're like, "Yeah, you can't fish for bass."
The part I don't understand is like up around my house. I'm sure it's the same way at your house. Like, bass are pretty much a trash fish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they even care about protecting them. Like, all our DNR cares about is walleyes and muskies, and for some reason we have a closed bass season. But get this, our bass season is closed to quote unquote protect the spawn, but most of our fish spawn after it's open, and then our state's cut in half, a north and a south. The north zone opens 2 weeks before the south zone opens. So when the north zone opens, it's like super pre-spawn, but yet it's to protect the spawn. So I don't know. They went to college. They know. They got all the answers.
Well, I'm all about college and science to make those decisions, but I'm like, there's no science. If you just like put a date on a calendar and you're just like, boom, this is the week where, because there's been years where majority of years they're still spawning when our season opens, and we close it when they're the most hardy. So we wait till they're post spawn. Now we can fish for them. That's when they're at their weakest. They're trying to recover. When they're pre spawn, and you can't fish. It's nuts. But people don't care about our problems.
No, that's all right.
No. What have you been doing in this little bit of a break?
I started out with a little bit of turkey hunting, and then been bassing pretty hard the last week or so.
Turkey hunting seems to be getting in the way of your bass fishing.
It does. It's a bad time of year.
Why is it so addictive? Like, people get nuts for turkey.
I don't know, man. There's something about it. I don't know. And the weird part is, it's like, I don't know, it just kind of consumes me, and I don't know, like with deer hunting and stuff like that, it's like, oh, I got him, I'm done. And then like when I shoot a turkey, it just makes me want to shoot another one even more. It's like a crack addiction, man. It gets worse the more you get. I don't know. But it's pretty well ruined my life, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know if it's quite like crack. I mean, that's a little excessive. I mean,
I don't think it's far off, man.
People have never performed favors for a turkey, have they?
They might have. They might have.
What is a big, like, have you shot? Like, what's a big turkey? I don't even know. Like, what? I mean,
they're all kind of the same. They're not like deer where you get like crazy big ones, They're all, a big turkey has like over inch spurs and a 10+ inch beard. And depending on where you are in the country, they weigh, some places 20 pounds is a big one. Up around my house, like 25 pounds is a big one. But they're all they're not like deer where it's like measured to the 1/8 of an inch and everything's like stacked up. If it's a 2-year-old turkey, it's plenty good for me.
Do you deer hunt? I mean, I always hear you talk about birds, but not a lot of.
No, I used to a lot. When I was younger, I had a little tree stand incident. I got in a bow hunting bag, had a tree stand fall, and that kind of shut down the deer hunting for me. And I'm just not made to be a deer hunter. The smoking gets in the way. Like with the birds and stuff, you can like hang with the boys and smoke. And there's a time when it gets serious. And when you're deer hunting, it's just sun up to sundown in a stand, not moving, not saying nothing. It's not for me. I'm not old enough for that yet.
Tell me about this tree stand incident. How bad was it? Were you? I mean,
Not
cliff
that
pace.
bad. I thought I was dead, but anyways, I was way back in on some public. This was about the time I did have a cell phone. I did not have it with me. It was one of those Nokia ones, not the flip phone, but I had like the green screen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah. Anyways,
Did
I'm
it
up in
buy
my
the
tree
minutes?
stand, and it was like kind of creaking when I moved around. And I don't know why I took my safety belt off, but I did. I was getting down for the day. It was like middle of the day. Um, and there was a big limb like coming out right above my tree stand. So I grabbed onto that and I got my feet out on like the end of my stand. I just wanted to like seat it into the tree a little more because it was creaking. So I was holding onto this limb and I'm literally jumping up and down on the end of my tree stand. They got like way nicer stuff now, but this is just had the old chain with the metal hook. You wrap that around that and then you drive the stands, got like two cleats on it that drive into the tree, and that's all that holds you on there. So, anyways, I'm holding on to that. I already took my safety strap off. I think my bow's already on the ground. I got my backpack on with my fanny pack with my rattling horns on my back. Then I got this limb up here and I'm jumping, 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 and then the stand just gave way. The hook, that metal hook on the chain ended up bending out and I fell like, I don't know, I was probably like 23, 25 feet up in the tree. Fell on my
Dang.
back with my rattling horns, landed on those. Luckily, it didn't puncture me. Really just ended up knocking the wind out of me. But it's scary as shit when you hit the ground. You're all by yourself, no cell phone in the middle of the woods. Like for 2 minutes, I thought I like broke my back and was gonna die there in the woods. Um, and no one was ever gonna find me. But ended up just knocking the wind out of me. And then um, the worst ordeal about the whole thing was after the about a week, I still hadn't taken a shit. Like I knew something was wrong, so the thing I knew to do, I'm not going to a doctor, so I go to White Castle, get like a 20 pack Crave case or 30 pack or whatever it is. Do you have White Castles?
Yeah,
Are you
we
familiar
don't
with
have
them?
them, but I have experienced them. I have.
Okay, yeah. So I crushed like a 20 or 30 pack of White Castles. I forget what it is. I'm like, I'm either gonna explode and die or shit my brains out. So it did the trick. Um I I shit out like a little like rock, like the thing like plinged when it hit the bottom of the toilet. It was so hard. It was like a clump of blood, but it was like blackish red.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
clinged when it hits the bottom of the toilet, and then I've been fine ever since. So I must have had like a little internal bleed when I fell out of the tree stand. Um, because I definitely had some blood in my intestine tract or whatever. But yeah, I didn't blow up, got that out, and been good to go ever since. But yeah, I just kind of got off the deer after that.
That's a good reason. But I'm still stuck on the fact that you chose White Castle over a doctor.
Well, I was like early 20s, no health insurance, like doctor was not an option. It was the only cure I knew. I mean, I guess I could have tried like X-Lax or something like that, but I know what happens when you eat a 20 pack of White Castle. And like I said, my stomach was either going to explode and I was going to die, or we were going to get it out. So, yeah, we got it out.
It's a whole
Cheap
new.
fix. Yeah, that
It's,
20 pack only costs like $5. I mean, that's way cheaper than going to the doctor.
it's a whole new spin on Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Yeah, it's
Well,
natural medicine.
you are a naturalist.
Yeah,
Uh, you mentioned smoking. You love smoking, don't you?
I
Like
do, man. Yeah, I know I have to quit. Like
really?
I know I do. I mean, it'll be the death of me, no doubt. I think it'll take a serious health scare. And people's like, oh, you should try Zen or nicotine patches or this and that. And it's like, it's not even about the nicotine, you know what I mean? I just like blowing smoke, man. Like 24/7.
It's
Like
I've
if I could just burn something that didn't do anything that was better for you, I don't know if inhaling smoke there's any good way of that, but yeah.
I've watched you smoke, dude. It's a ritual. Like it's not just some people are like, I gotta go. They're smokers. I mean, I used to be a smoker way back in the day,
Yeah.
and I'd have to run out and gotta have my smoke. But dude, for you, it's like we're smoking. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
you beat the crap out of that pack, which that's
Oh
a
yeah.
very bad hand gesture for me to do on the internet.
That is. You gotta turn it more like this. Keep the hand open. You look like you're
Yeah,
double
gotcha,
twisting.
gotcha. So when do you think you're gonna quit?
Honestly, it's probably gonna take like some kind of health scare to shut it down. Or maybe my girls will get old enough and yell at me enough to make me quit. It needs to happen, but
How are you
it,
gonna have
it'll
a
be the
health
hard, it'll
care?
be the hardest thing I ever do, no doubt.
Oh yeah. How are you ever gonna have a health scare if you never go to the doctor? Like White Castle ain't gonna tell you to quit.
Fair enough. I mean, I might. I mean, I might get so bad I have to go to the doctor. I got health insurance now, so
Yeah, yeah.
I got
Hey,
options.
maybe some big Nicorette or something company will come along and be like, Seth Feider, we're gonna save your life and pay you at the same time. Would you
Yeah.
if one of those companies came along, would you quit right now?
If the money was right,
How much?
oh, I don't know. I don't know. It'd have to be a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Six
Well,
figures, sure.
yeah. Anyways, um, that's the first time I've ever heard you say you were going to quit. I was shocked, to be
I
honest.
didn't say I was going to quit. I said I know I need to eventually.
Yeah. Well, it turns out people either quit or they quit. you
Or
you stop
yeah,
smoking
yeah, I
one way,
get quitted. Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll happen.
but
So
you somehow at a time when, like, I see the most beautiful girls that I'll be driving along in the car, and you just kind of glance over and you see a girl, and then she pulls out a cigarette, and all of a sudden, that beautiful girl to me does not look near as beautiful. But somehow you found a way in
no, I would say it'd be the
2024
opposite.
to make it seem. Oh, you think girls are hotter when they smoke?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Then you know she's kind of down for whatever, you know what I mean?
All right. It's a good way to look at it.
Oh yeah.
All right. We see well, at least we'll never go after the same girl. I
Like if
mean,
you put, well, I'm locked down, so that
so
we
am
ain't gotta
I.
worry about that. Yeah. But in a hypothetical world, I mean, if I pulled out a smoke and one girl was like you, like I know she's not gonna be that much fun. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. If I see one banging a dart, like she's probably a good time.
You uh,
You disagree with that?
no, hey, it's just a different way of look. When I
Okay.
think, see, here's the deal: when you smoke, you don't. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it. You're probably right. I mean, your theories are all right. I mean, they're just different. Like the White Castle theory, it's true. I mean, you go to there, the Waffle House, and it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Saved my life.
yeah, I'm gonna add that to your intro. A man whose life was once saved by White Castle.
Cheap fix, man.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Never mind the doctors, folks. Go to White Castle. It'll fix
Yeah,
you up.
it will.
Speaking of fixing you up, this season, and not just for you, dude, but this has been one of the weirdest. Like you look at our Angler of the Year list, and we're just past the halfway point. What's your thoughts on 2024?
Oh, bad, rough one for me. Can't do
Why?
anything right. I'm definitely in a slump, and just every, I mean, every big fish I've hooked this year has come off, with the exception of one at Murray. Like day two on Murray, I almost feel like I'm not going to say turned my season around because it's so far gone that there's no saving it. I mean, I am fishing 3 opens, and then I think if you win the last one, you get in the classic. Is that still a thing?
I believe so. Yeah.
So, I
And
mean,
it
I got
is
4 more chances
Waddington.
at a classic. I don't even know if I could get back into the classic, even if I top 10 the rest of the year. I don't even know if that's fees. Maybe it is, but I at this point I'm looking at winning a classic or sorry, winning an open or that last one of the years. Really my only chance getting in the classic. Just that's how bad my year's gone. Um, but really I've had the bites to have a mediocre year. I mean, I should be doing all right. I just can't do anything wrong. Keep making bad decisions and uh not getting the right ones in the boat, but that's the way she goes. It's no different than when you're on a roll, you can't do anything wrong. Right
Yeah.
now I can't do anything right. It doesn't matter. You bring in 12 pounds a day, it ain't gonna end well for you on the Elite Series.
I think I remember you telling me that year when you won Angler of the Year, and maybe it might be confused, but tell me if I'm right. You never lost a fish that mattered that entire season. Is that true?
That's true till the last tournament, St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
I had kind of a meltdown that first morning or whatever, and then got the train back on the track. But in hindsight, none of those really mattered because I ended up catching a really nice bag that day. But at the time, it felt like it. But yeah, I mean, this is the exact same season, just opposite of that. Everything's gone wrong, nothing's gone right. The way
So
she goes.
what what goes through your mind? You've got a little bit of a break now. Like going into these final events, like do you change anything or are you just trying to fish your way out of it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to fish my way out of it. That's all you can do. I mean, it'll come. This isn't gonna be the last slump I'm in, and I will definitely be on a roll again before it's over. So you just gotta take it with a grain of salt and battle through it.
You're not the only one having a rough year. I mean, if you look at our Angler of the Year standings, it's shocking the amount of perennial classic qualifiers that are in the bottom 40.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is happening this year?
Uh, I mean, the Elite Series is harder now than it's ever been, no doubt.
Ever?
Ever, no doubt. Even when I started,
Really?
I could have said that 2 years ago, and uh it gets even stiffer every year now. It's unbelievable how stacked the field is, really. Even like when I started fishing, like my first year back in the KVD days and all that stuff, if you were on, you could cash a check every tournament. There was enough guys that weren't that great, had big names and stuff, weren't that good. They're all over at MLF now, whatever. Uh, but now, I mean, there's very little fat to cut off. I mean, one more year of the opens, and I don't think there will be anybody that I would consider not a top tier bass fisherman fishing the Elite Series after this next year of cuts.
Yeah. Last time we did a podcast, we talked about it, the 9 qualifiers, 9 events to qualify versus the 3, and you were very pro for the 3,
It was, yeah.
just because you felt the working guy gets a better opportunity to
Yeah.
qualify. Have your feelings changed at all? What in either direction? Watching how competitive the 9 that arrived are.
No, I mean, you're definitely going to get a little more cream of the crop doing the 9 versus the 3. I still got the same stance, though. I think a guy that, you know, doesn't have millionaire parents and works for a living should have a chance to qualify for the Elite Series. I don't get me wrong, when you're just basing it off 3, you do get, before when it was going that way, I'd say a third of the rookies that qualified were real good hammers. A third of them were, 50-50. If they caught a break, they'd make it. If they didn't catch a break, they wouldn't make it. And a third of them probably got lucky and shouldn't have been there. And now with doing all 9, you're just going to get, 9 hammers, essentially 9 guys that are going to make it. So your rookie field's going to be a lot stronger now. But I think it takes the working man out of it, which I don't know if they did it that way, I wouldn't be here. So I mean, what you're gonna get now with the 9 opens, you're gonna get all the good kids that come out of college that have well off parents and can do it. You know what I mean? Versus the guy that's worked his whole life in his 30s or whatever and wants to take a stab at it. That guy, he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't disagree with that. Obviously, when you have to commit to 9 of them over 3,
Yeah.
it's a whole different. It was the anglers that kind of wanted it to go that way, though, right? The elite anglers were the ones who said we need to change our qualification, correct? Or
I don't know who said that. I never said it. I mean, I get where they're coming from. Like Bassmaster, they said they didn't want, excuse me, uh Bassmaster said they didn't want, they felt bad for, those guys that I was talking about that kind of got lucky and
yeah,
qualified for the opens, and then they get on the elite series and they go bankrupt and or whatever, run out of money and crap out after a year or two or whatever. They wanted to prevent that from happening, but now what's happening is you're getting guys doing that in the opens. They fish 9 opens for 2 years, spend 100 grand just to try to qualify. At least that guy that crapped out in the elites got to dance. You know what I mean? He got to fish the elite series. Now you're gonna have guys doing crapping out in the opens and never even getting a chance to dance. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah. No, I can
that
see it
was
from
what
that
they said.
standpoint.
That's the reason why they did it. I mean, I don't get me wrong. You're definitely going to get a stronger field of rookies having to fish all 9 opens, no doubt about it. But like I said, I think it just takes the common man out of it.
I get that. I get that. I mean, mathematically, you can't argue that. Um,
There's not too many guys that got a job that can take 9 weeks off and spend 40, 50 grand a year to fish the opens.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's wild.
yeah, you're right. And you look at what's happening with those rookies as well. Like it's not just the 9 weeks that they take; it's like they live on the water. I mean, and
Oh yeah,
which
no.
is what you should do as a rookie. What you
Yeah.
kind of have to do. I mean, you're
No, they're
trying to
getting
play
after it.
catch
They're
up.
working hard. I'm not knocking them at all. I mean, they were the best 9 guys in the opens last year, no doubt about it.
There's been a lot of talk about how some of the rookies don't feel welcomed. And did you feel any of that when you joined the Elite Series? Is that new or is that
No, that's every year.
yeah.
I mean, you're a rookie. You got to earn the respect. You know what I mean? You don't just walk in there and have it handed to you. Nobody was nice to me my rookie year.
Nobody?
No,
Not
I mean
one of
nobody was mean to me, but they weren't like, hey, come over here and have a beer with us.
them?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just part of being new in the club. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, when I started with Bass, I felt the same way. There was
yeah, or you got to earn the respect. You don't just walk in and get it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it is. I think it's that way, rightfully or
I mean,
wrongfully.
there's a
So
few of
it's
the
that way
rookies
in
I
everything.
like. The few of the rookies I like pretty good.
Who?
Wesley Gore's awesome.
Yeah, he's a
Scott
good dude.
Patrick, those are probably my 2 favorite rookies.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty cool. There's only a few that I don't care for, but whatever.
Do you think that some of that chatter about it being them having a tougher time, do you think more of that has to do with this? I mean, if other dudes were catching them, do you think they'd be having such a tough time?
Yeah, that's probably got something to do with it. It's probably a little bit of jealousy. Like, I don't know. Like, when I was a rookie and I started out, it was like hard for me anyways. Like, I mean, it's just with the whole technology deal, but rookies weren't coming out and making top tens every single, you know what I mean? Every top
Yeah.
10 we have is half rookies now. Which you never saw that before. It was like my first year, I was like scrapping by to barely get a check here and there, you know what I mean? I think I made 1 top 10 my first year. Uh that was pretty common for rookies then. But the technology's changed all that. I mean, it's a it's a different game now.
Yeah. And it's been
Like
skewing that way for a few years. Like
yeah,
I, I
absolutely.
remember
Yeah.
the guy who won rookie of the year. for years, maybe made the Classic, like, but deep in the
Oh
Classic,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
30 something, there's your
yeah,
rookie of the year.
exactly.
For the last how many years they've contested, you know, Joey Cifuentes almost won Angler of
Oh
the
yeah,
Year last
yeah,
year.
exactly. But
Um,
yeah, and this year I'll probably get one by rookie. I mean, yeah, it's just that's the technology for you. It's changed the game. The 20 years it took to get good in fishing don't exist anymore. It can be not saying everyone can do it, but I mean the learning curve is shortened a lot with the technology.
so let me ask you this question, because that's something you hear a lot and nobody can argue with it. But if it's simpler to go that route, why don't we see more veterans just doing it?
Yeah, we're just stubborn old dogs, and we got voices in our heads that, you know what I mean? I go do it for a couple hours, and the back of my head's just like screaming. It's the first time I've ever had to like turn my intuition off. You know what I mean? Like that's how
Yeah.
I've always rolled, is just listen to my gut and do this and do that. Like, you know what I mean? I go out and do that for a couple hours, and like it's hard for me to commit to it. You know what I mean? Unless um you're having success with it, but like the back of my head's just screaming at me like you need to go swim a jig in the bushes or flip a jig under docks or whatever, and it's like I'm just battling. I'm having to turn off my instincts, and that's kind of hard to do.
Is that a good thing for the sport?
I don't know. I never want to be one to like bash new stuff coming out. It's definitely changed the sport. Good or bad, I can't answer that. Um, but it's the days of instinctive angling are over, no doubt.
Do you think they're over forever, or is this a temporary thing?
Could be forever. Hard to say. I would say until the point it gets to, you know, I don't know. I would say probably forever. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. There, I mean, I've heard some podcasts report that there was a poll taken. I don't think there was a poll, but I know in the last few weeks there's been a lot of conversations between bass and anglers. Were you involved in those conversations? Did you get a phone call?
Yeah, I did.
And how do you feel that went?
Uh, I know what they're gonna do, and it's kind of pointless in even having the conversation. I don't. The problem is they're gonna go down the middle, and that's the wrong answer. Like, in my opinion, it's either legal and we go wild and have 10 transducers and as many graphs as you want, or it's not legal. End of story. And they're gonna obviously, I already know how this works with bass. They're gonna be like, oh, half the people wanted it banned, half the people didn't want it banned, so we're gonna limit you to one or two transducers and 4 12-inch graphs. That's what they're gonna do because they think they're gonna make everyone happy that way. And I'd rather see it, like I said, it's not illegal. Have 15 live scopes on your boat, or it is illegal and no live scopes. But I already know what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to like do some meat down the middle, try to make everyone happy, and I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Does that decision make anyone happy? You know, but if you're a hardcore
I
live
don't think
scope
I
guy, I
don't
guess
think
you're
so. No, I don't think so. I mean, it, why are we limiting it if there's nothing wrong with it?
it's a good point. What do you think the right call would be?
I don't know. I don't care either way. I just want to see it go one way or the other. I do not want to go down the middle. I think that's the worst thing they can do. That's just my opinion. Don't worry, they won't listen to it. Like I said, they're gonna let everyone vote. Half the people are gonna want to ban it, half the people are gonna want to keep it, and they're gonna quote unquote make a compromise and limit it. And in my opinion, that's the worst thing you can do.
What about the theory where you hear people talking about half the events with it, half the events without it? Where are you at with that?
I mean, that's it's that same deal as limiting it. Either it's
Yeah.
legal or it ain't. Like either go wild, run with it, or ban it. But don't cut down the middle. Don't half this, half that, one deuce or one graph, whatever. I mean, is it against the rules or is it not? You know what I mean?
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I mean, a rule should be a rule. You know what I mean? Like, can I snag bedfish in half the tournaments and not the other half of the tournaments? Can I snag one bedfish a day and then I gotta catch the rest in the mouth? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the rule? It shouldn't. I mean, you're just pick one side or the other. I don't care, but don't split it down the middle.
Carl Jacobson said that everybody's in this argument, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. And
Yeah,
I honestly believe that. Like I
yeah.
don't know that there's
There
a
is no
way to
right
win.
answer. Yeah,
Like
there is
if
no
it's
right answer. I don't know which way is right or wrong. I just don't want to see it. Uh, you know what I mean?
halfway.
Yeah. Pick a side.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, that's a
But like I said, I already know they're gonna limit it for sure and try to make everyone happy and nobody wins.
so this time next year, limited, do you think the same group of people are as ornery as they are right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not gonna change anything. I mean, the scopers are good at it, dude. You give them one 10-inch graph and one live scope, and they don't need all that extra stuff. That just makes them a little more efficient on the water. But I mean, you can get, like I said, one 10-inch scope and one transducer. They're still going to be deadly. I mean, they're good at what they do.
Are you still as in love with this sport as you always have been?
Uh, it comes and goes. I mean, it's hard when you're struggling to
Yeah.
um be as happy about it as always. But I mean, that's just having a rough year, you know. At the moment, I would say no, but I do love it. I mean, well, I've been fishing this last week and just excited to get out there and fishing hard and enjoying it. It's just hard to, I've had a rough season. Even the end of last year was rough, so it's really been like a whole season that's kind of sucked for me. Um, Even though we're only halfway through this one, the last half of last year sucked too. So, um, it's hard to stay positive when it's been going that bad for that long. But I know it'll turn around one point, and then we'll be on a roll for a while, and make the most of it when you get there.
How frustrating is that as a competitor to be part of a sport where it's that, when golfers go on a bad run, they can change their coach, they can change their clubs, but in fishing, it just feels like you have to ride it. And the harder you try to
Oh
get
yeah,
it out of the ditch, the
yeah,
more it pulls towards the ditch.
oh yeah, yeah. It just happens. So I'm just kind of waiting it out.
Does outside of the outcome, does it feel very different to you this year than your AOI year in 2021?
I mean, like I said, it's the same, just the opposite. Like
Yeah.
that year, I couldn't do anything wrong. Everything went right. This year, I'm on just as much of a heater. It's just going the wrong way,
Gotcha.
or
Gotcha.
whatever you want to call it. But yeah, see, the same but opposite.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I think you're going to turn it around. I mean, Alabama, no better spot to turn it around than Alabama.
Yeah, I just love the heat, Mercer. I'm so excited about going there in the middle of June. And the best part is we got a week off in between the two, so I get to drive home, hang out for 3 days, and turn around and drive right back to sweaty Alabama. Don't
It
get me
is going to
wrong,
be
I love
hot.
Alabama. It's really nice in March and April, but
Yeah.
I've said this since the beginning of time. I mean, after May, there was no business being in the South.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too much good fishing up north. The weather's nice. I mean, there's no reason to not be in a state touching Canada after June 1st.
I'm all for that. I am all
Yeah.
for that. As a guy who stands on a black stage, I am 100% for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting couple of events. And when you look at our angle, whether you're at the top of that leaderboard or at the bottom, I mean, Alabama's going to be, it's going to be hard to, I think our Angler of the Year race and everything, a lot will be decided when we leave Alabama, because when we get to Champlain and Thousand Islands, it's hard to make up ground. But there's going to be a lot of moving in Alabama.
Oh yeah, yeah. Guys could have some really bad tournaments there, pretty easy. But what's meant to be will be. Who's ever meant to win Angler of the Year, we'll catch them at all the last 4 tournaments, no doubt about it.
Do you believe that? Are you a big believer? And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Oh,
if it's
absolutely,
not,
no doubt. Yeah.
So does that help you relax in your decisions, or?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think the winners of the tournaments are predetermined before we ever get there.
By who?
The bass gods, I don't know.
All right. All right.
Mother Nature, I don't know. I don't know who's in charge of that.
But it's all decided.
Yeah, just weird stuff happens,
I got you. I got you.
Tournaments just seem meant to be,
Yeah. Something I just heard that you're a part of that I think is pretty cool. And they are not a sponsor of this show at all. But hey, come on, bring it. You could be. Omnia is doing some pretty cool stuff. I mean, they've actually, I got to give them credit. Omnia has been for and I don't mean this as an insult, but a small company, in the north that's rapidly getting bigger. It's amazing some of the stuff that they've done, like some of the outside of the box thinking stuff that they have done and really push this sport. Their partnership they did with Bass, where they were simulcasting their map thing. They've got some amazing things, but now they're going to give you the opportunity to beat Seth Feider.
Yeah.
When is that happening?
Well, it's already started. I think the people fishing against me have like a 2-week window. I think we're just started. I think it's only been going on for a few days. The day I'm fishing is next Wednesday. I think it's June 5th. And then I think the tournament will go on for 4 or 5 more days after that. So you'll know what I got and you got time to beat me. And everybody who beats me wins stuff. So
Nice.
we're gonna
we're
gonna live stream my day on the water, so that'll be cool. I'm gonna go up to Mille Lacs and fish around for 8 hours. I think we got like 4 hours of it live streamed, and then probably do a little something with the other 4 hours, just whatever, show some highlight reels or whatever we got, whatever happens. Yeah, should be interesting, and everybody probably a lot of prizes handed out.
When this airs, it will have happened. You will have already fished. So right now, people know, but it airs next Wednesday. So,
yeah. What time?
This show will be at 6 p.m. So,
perfect. So yeah, my day on the water will already be over. But yeah, you guys you'll still have, I don't know, about a week to beat me. So
nice.
Yeah.
So they can fish anywhere.
Yeah, it's wide open virtual tournament. You can fish anywhere. Well, I don't quote me on this. I don't know. Canada might be off limits. Your government has weird rules with like prizes and stuff.
Lots of them.
But for sure, anywhere in the United States. And there's a North and a South division, so don't get discouraged. Like right now, some guy from Florida's got a pretty big bag, but the North's still wide open, and yeah, it'll be in 2 separate categories, so you're not competing against, if you're in New York or Minnesota, you're not going to be competing against somebody in Florida or Texas. So, but either way, you just got to beat me, which
the
way this year's going shouldn't be too hard.
No, this is going to turn. This is your turnaround point. I
felt good about doing it. Day 2 at Lake Murray, dude. I hooked a 5-pounder and I caught it. Like I got it in the boat. Like that hasn't happened all year, so I feel good about that.
I think this tournament's going to turn things around for you. Then you're going to go to Alabama. I mean, no better way to get confidence than kicking a lot of the country's ass, right?
Yeah.
What is your goal for inches? What do you think that you'll like? There's no limit, right? You're letting them all go. So if you catch 100, you can measure them all, right?
No. I think it's a 5 fish limit.
Oh,
length on inches. Yep.
All right.
I mean, I would say hard to say, but I would think I'd throw some upper 90s, close to 100 up on Mille Lacs smallies. You know, most of the nice ones are 18 to 20 inches. So, um, you know,
They don't have a lot of
uh,
long ones there.
no, I was
22s.
talking to Pete about that. I caught one, the biggest one I ever caught out of there that I weighed was only 21 and a half. That was 7.2. And then I did catch one that I didn't have a scale on the boat for, but I measured it. That was 22 and a half, but that's one. So, I mean, honestly, if I could get a limit of 20 inches and have 100 inches, that'd be pretty solid.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't entered, you can beat him in the last 3 days of this contest, and
Yeah.
you'll know exactly what he weighed today or measured. The llama hunt. If that's what I mean, it has to be llama hunting season. Make it a yearly thing. Every year, everybody gets a chance to hunt the llama.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Talk to me about smallmouth bass, dude, because it is amazing, and it just seems to not have a let off. Like in the way that I remember 10 years ago, people being like, yeah, it's so good right now. It's never going to get better than this.
Yeah.
And then I remember 5 years ago, people being like, it's still better. And it just seems to, like, are we a few years away from just seeing 10-pound smallmouth bass everywhere?
I don't know about 10 pounders, but it definitely seems to be uh going in the right track, no doubt about it. I don't know what it's all about, whether it's a little bit warmer water, clearer water. I'm sure the zebra mussels had a lot to do with it. Gobies probably had a lot to do with it. I don't know any other factors, but yeah, they are. I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger every year and more of them. So, um, yeah, I'd say we're definitely in the prime smallmouth fishing of our lifetime for sure. Maybe it'll just keep getting better. I don't know. At some point, it's got to stop, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
got to
mean,
peak, right?
they're getting close to being as big,
Yeah,
long as they are as wide. I mean,
yeah,
I think, but I think you mentioned the three main points. And I think the biggest point that nobody talks about is the seasons. Like, I mean, our northern fish only have so many, a short growing season. I mean,
hmm
everything, their pre-spawn, their spawn, everything happens quickly and they have a short growing season. Well, everywhere has been either getting warmer quicker, like
yeah,
this year, or it's lasting longer into the
yeah,
fall.
yeah.
I mean, you add an extra month worth of growing, an extra 3 weeks worth of growing. That is a huge, that I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's the biggest
yeah,
untalked about thing.
yep, no doubt. So yeah, they
Indeed.
don't have a long season to grow up here, so any extra they get is going to make a big difference.
You're fishing those opens up there?
I
Leech?
am, yeah. I didn't know I was going to have this terrible of a year, so I'm kind of glad I got in them. But it was kind of a scenario, or I mean, there was two of them within 3 hours of my house. I mean, the other one's only like 8 hours away, so I kind of had to do them. So, but I'm glad I did now. So
Where do you think you are 10 years from now, Seth?
I'm hoping 10 year, like this is my ninth year fishing, so I'm hoping 11 years from now I'm retiring. I
Really?
guess not quite 10 years. I'd yeah, do 20 years on the elites and uh shut her down.
What would you do?
Well, I turned to a farmer.
Not bad.
Yeah, be a
You
duck
don't think you'd
farmer, a turkey
miss?
farmer.
What would be
Would
the
I miss the
hardest thing about
competition? I
that?
mean, I'd still fish. I love fishing. I'd still go out and fishing, but I'm gonna fish where I want, when I want, how I want. You know what I mean?
And how is that? Like, if you could put things in your way.
It's either frog and duckweed, swimming a jig in some sort of emergent vegetation, or like flipping milfoil, or like shallow smallmouth fishing. Like I probably spend a lot of time on the Great Lakes.
Indeed. Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
But yeah, I'm just gonna do what I want when I want, not like have to do stuff I don't like. Like I
You
will
think
not be in Alabama in June. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
It's
the
in
people
June.
in
I'm gonna be on Lake Ontario or Lake Michigan, and I'm gonna be fishing smallmouth in gin clear water and wearing a hoodie and bibs.
still smoking?
I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it, but I don't not see it either. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It you told me your dream is to get a farm, is to get
Yeah,
acreage and just
yeah.
be all by yourself.
Have some critters, let the kids play. Uh, yeah, sounds nice. No
It
neighbors.
Do you have problems with your neighbors?
No, my neighbors are awesome actually. But I just like sometimes the guy just wants to pee in his yard. You know what I mean? And
It's
I
a
can't do
great
that where I can't do that where I live.
it's a great feeling. It really is.
Yeah,
Just
like sometimes I just want to not have to go in the house to use the bathroom, or maybe I'd like to discharge a firearm off my front steps. Can't do that. So I got awesome neighbors. I'm not knocking them at all. They're awesome, but I just yeah. Sometimes I just want to pee in my front yard, man.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. Um, what do you think you would miss most when you got to that? Is it just the camaraderie, the time on the road, the
Probably seeing I mean I'd still be traveling around a bit. I like to travel. I really do. I like driving across this country. And just seeing stuff, seeing different places. That's probably my favorite part about it is the travel and going different places and seeing new things. That's probably what I'd miss the most.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's incredible the things you get to see on the like and I don't know if it's a getting older thing, but I notice them more now. Like when I first started, you're just like, I'm staying at this Hampton and I go to this boat
Yeah.
ramp and you just see the lake. But now you just realize, how awesome, when we go to South Dakota, how awesome that
Oh yeah.
is. And just so
Yeah.
many cool places.
Oh
Where's
yeah.
somewhere the Elite Series has never been? If you could pick a place for us to go, where would it be?
That we've never been.
Or
You
even if
used to
it's
be an
somewhere.
easy question. I used to say Lake Minnetonka really easy, but that lake sucks now. So
Why?
um, they nuked all the grass in it.
Ugh,
Yeah, it's just a June clear swimming pool now with no weeds
gotcha.
and very few fish.
That
Like put it
sucks.
this way, there's a tournament out there. The first tournament of the year, big bass was 4 pounds 3 ounces. And like you used to like not even weigh something like that for big fish. There would be like lots of 5 pounders weighed in every tournament.
Yeah.
And last
Wow.
year, I think there was only like 4 or 5 5 pound fish weighed in all year on Minnetonka. So
Damn.
this year might be one or two or none, or I don't know. Sometimes they just show up. Sometimes they think they're all dead and they just show up. But yeah, no, it's yeah, spraying the grass is just it's really ruined a lot of lakes.
So it's not easy to answer anymore. So where are we going?
Okay. Well, it's probably somewhere I've never been. That's the problem.
That's
Uh,
fine.
okay, Fort Peck. Fort Peck, Montana. It does not have the facilities for us. There's nowhere to stay. The boat ramp's 40 miles away from or 40 miles down gravel, but that would be I guess it would look a lot like Hawaii, but that's a really cool place that we've never been. But it does not have the infrastructure for us. No doubt. It's not an option, but that's just what popped in my head.
If you could, 4 pack.
Yeah, it's got giant smallmouth in it. It's untouched. It'd be like, the first time we went to Hawaii, it'd be real unknown.
What is the strangest thing you've ever found fishing?
Hmm. Uh, on a dead pit bull at the Sabine River.
Oh wow.
Um,
It's horrible.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. That's probably it. I found some dead deer. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably the weirdest thing I've seen.
That's a bad answer. Paul Nick
I'm
last week
sorry.
told us about a UFO that he found, type underwater UFO deal.
No, never found a UFO. I don't know. Sorry, you're gonna have to cut that out of your show.
No, we leave it
Yeah.
all in. We don't edit anything
It's
else out.
Houston, man. It's a wild place, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I mean, Orange, you're saying Sabine River, you found a dead pit bull.
Yeah.
Lee Livesey's told me he found dead cows.
Oh yeah, I've seen dead cows out there too. I've seen those more often, so I thought the dog was a little different. I thought that'd
Yeah,
be weirder. Seen dead
very
pigs.
different.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm realizing how tough that fishery is. Just not
Sabine?
just on
Oh yeah.
anglers. It's tough on everything.
I like it actually. I used to hate it. I enjoy it now.
What changed that in you? Why did you go from hating to liking?
Well, I used to really struggle on tidal fisheries. That used to be kind of my nemesis when I first started fishing out, but that's a place you can still instinctually fish. So I enjoy it now.
Do you think it's important for bass to have one or two of those quote unquote grinders every year?
I like to see it. Yeah, I think it kind of there's a lot of people that don't live around hammer holes, you know. There's a good portion of the I don't know if you call it the Midwest, but you know that Indiana, Ohio, Illinois area, and then you know, there's a lot of people that just, you know, um 3 pounders are big ones where they fish, you know what I mean? So I think it kind of gets the whole bass fishing community involved. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this. The slugfests are awesome too, but I think a couple. Um, but if we do have grinders, I want them to be like true grinders, not like the ones we're gonna have in Alabama where we go to like pretty good lakes just at the exact wrong time to be at them. You know what I mean? Like that's not the kind of grinder I want to see. I'd rather go to like Sabine where it's just tough all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like you know rivers and stuff like that, just to mix it up and see something different. I don't want to go to like a you know a really good like that'd be like going to like Lake Fork in August or September. You know what I mean? Like it's just like why? You know what I mean?
Don't go to Disneyland when the roller coasters are shut down, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's a
How's
grinder. Just make sure it's a grinder and not just going to a like Wheeler and Smith are good lakes. Like they're fine. There's plenty of good fish in there. You go there, you know, March, April, May, fishing's gonna be awesome. You're gonna catch a bunch of big fish. You go to them in the end of June, it's gonna be a grinder, but on good lakes. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the time and place to showcase those. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna watch the Smith Lake tournament and be like, man, let's get in the truck and drive to Smith Lake. You know what I mean? Whereas you go to Lake Fork and you watch that tournament on TV, I guarantee there's people jumping in their truck and driving to Lake Fork after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That people might
Where
want to go
if we
wakeboarding.
went to Smith in April, people would see that and be like, hell yeah, let's go catch some of them big fat ass spotted bass. You know what I mean?
Did you? And maybe this is a bad question to ask because we've already talked about how your season's going. But did you like the change in schedule this year outside of your results? But like the going to Texas early, then going to Florida a little bit later. I mean, Florida, St. John still got one bed fishing, so it didn't
Yeah.
seem to change things. But those other events were obviously very different.
Yeah. No, I like mixing it up. It was cool. I just wish we could go like more new places and stuff, but
Yeah,
it is what it is. Just tell me where to be, I'll be there.
I like that about you.
Yeah.
How's business? Business good for Seth
Yeah.
Feider right now?
Yeah. Be a little better if I cash a check, but yeah. Other than that, everything's rolling good.
It it definitely feels like it's going to slow down a little bit. Do you agree?
What's that?
just the amount, like it's going to be tough over the next number of years for professional anglers, I imagine.
You're talking like sponsorship wise?
Yeah.
I think that's already happened. I think I mean, our only hope at this point is to get a new president in November and get everything back on track. But yeah, if we keep the same one, it's gonna be ugly. Real ugly.
Still rooming with the Johnstons and Maddie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maddie said you guys didn't get along a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Is all good now?
Mm-hmm.
What
Good
happened?
to go. No, just a little miscommunication.
Neither of you will tell me about it, but I think that's good. That's
It's no
good.
big
I
deal.
mean, it's over. It's the past.
Yeah.
The Johnsons are having a great season.
They
Do you
are.
think there's a chance that if this continues on, that you and Maddie will wake up one night and beat them both with soap bars in a pillowcase?
No, I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're doing good.
That's very good of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. What's more likely, aliens or Sasquatch?
Both. There's for sure both exist.
For sure.
Oh yeah, there's aliens, no doubt.
You'd have to think.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
I mean,
they might be 500 million light years away or something, you know what I mean? But there's no doubt. I don't think there's any aliens close to us, but there's 1,000,000% aliens out there.
If there was an alien on
And
the
they
Elite
might even
series,
just be humans. I mean, they might be humans on
Yeah.
another planet. You know what I mean? I don't know what you want to call them, but there's without a doubt life on another planet. They might be dinosaurs. They might be, our quote unquote aliens, like Martian type looking people or humans just like us or just animals. And it might be planets full of just animals, like they're kind of deer and stuff or whatever. But no, without a doubt, there's aliens. I just think they're too far away for us to ever know about them.
Yeah.
They're clearly not on the few planets closest to us.
Okay. If there was an alien on the Elite series, who would it be?
I don't know if he's an alien, but I have a theory that Koya is a Japanese built robot. I don't believe him to be human.
How come?
I don't know. I think Japan's technology is a little bit ahead of ours. I think they built like an AI robot that's like really good at bass fishing, and they sent him over here to destroy us. Like in 10 years, if I'm still around and like I'm about to retire or whatever, I'm gonna walk up with a little pocket knife and just kind of just clip Koyo to see if he bleeds. Like if I hit him with a pocket knife and sparks come out, I'll know I was right.
If he was an alien, I think he'd be doing a lot better this year. Are you shocked that he's in like 50th for Angler of the Year after winning one? Yeah.
I did not know that. I just assumed he was in the top. He was my pick for Angler of the Year before the season started because the schedule really set up good for him to do what he does,
I'm going to check this just to make sure. So I'm not.
I did not know that. I just
my
assumed
stats,
he was in the top 10 just because.
No, he is. Where is he? I'm certain he was down there. I was shocked to see where he was. 56th for Angler of the Year, which
wow. Yeah,
those are two things that are shocking.
That's shocking.
And Joey Cifuentes, two dudes who really are good with that technology and have proved it. And Joey's in like 100th for Angler of the Year. Why do you think that's happening? If forward-facing Sonar is dominating.
I mean, it's not a cure-all. It's not a fix everything. Yeah. I mean, you still got to be on a roll, I mean, sure, Joey's probably having the same kind of season I am. Every big one he hooks comes off, or, he should have went here and he went there. And that's just how it goes, you know what I mean? Like, just having forward-facing sonar isn't going to, like, I mean, I got it. You know what I mean? It's not like you just put it on and you're just like a badass at fisherman at fishing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Where are the Sasquatch if they exist?
Um, honestly, I believe they may have gone extinct. To be honest with you,
So they lived, but they're gone.
I believe so. Yes. There's not much. I mean, with the exception of like maybe the upper bush of Canada, um, or maybe like a South American jungle. There's not much woods that hasn't been set foot in. You know what I mean?
But doesn't it shock you that we haven't? I mean, if they're extinct, I mean, we know what a T-Rex looked like. We know what a Brontosaurus, what a Triceratops, all these different dinosaurs looked like.
Yeah, but they're magical. They're not like a dinosaur. Um, I feel like when they might enter this world and leave this world differently. You know what I mean?
So their bones don't stick around.
I don't know if they might die here. You know what I mean? I think they kind of come and go more like I don't know, like a magician or something. You know what I mean? Like a cloud of smoke and just kind of go back
Oof.
to there's another world or another place they come from. I don't think they inhabit this universe or our Earth. I think they come and go and visit. I don't believe they to live here.
So all any of those videos that you see with the long arms doing the what? Do you think any of those are legit, or most of those are?
No, that's all a dude in a gorilla suit. Like I don't think you could take a picture of a Sasquatch
You
or a
can't.
Sam Squatch. I don't think they'd show up on film. You know what I mean?
Wow, it's a
Yeah.
good point. Good point. If you saw one, let's say you're out turkey hunting,
Yeah.
would you take the shot, or
Absolutely.
you'd shoot it?
I don't think my bullets would hit it. I think it would transport back to its other world before my shot reached it.
Really?
Yeah, but absolutely, I'm shooting, no doubt. I'm running her dry, Dave.
But then you're destined to be the insane dude. Like for the rest of your life, you're like, I saw it. It was right in front of me. I shot it, and the bullets bounced off.
I don't think it bounce off. I think he would just like evaporate before they got to him. You know what I mean?
Wow. Joy and the Sasquatch have a lot in common all of a sudden. They're magical.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. So
Well, now I kind
aliens,
of believe him to be human. I didn't know he was so far down.
yeah. Shocking. Shocking.
Yeah, I thought he was just like a forward-facing robot that Japan built.
Well, he might be. I mean, I think in Alabama, there's going to be a lot of that, and he'll do well there. And then we're going to go to Champlain, and he won the last time we were there.
Oh
And
yeah,
then we're
yeah.
going to go to Thousand Islands. And how different is
You're
that
fine.
going? Are we going to see a century belt in Waddington, or does the run take that away?
I would I would say the run's going to take that away.
So what's our winning weight there? Is it high
Mid,
90s?
yeah, mid 90s,
Gotcha.
mid
Gotcha.
90s. Yeah, it'll be
You like
close. It'd be
you've done
100 pounds for sure if we went out of Clayton. But
Yeah, I think that's the truth. Even
yeah,
unless you have extremely bad weather, I think
yeah,
with technology and everything, it's just too. I mean, before you couldn't find them again. You know what?
yeah,
You found them and then they moved. Now
yeah.
people find them. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it it takes. We'll see. I mean, how many guys you think will run to the lake?
a lot.
Everybody's been there now, so they
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
You run into the lake?
I'm gonna have to. I mean, that's probably that might be if I don't win one of the opens, that's gonna be my only chance of getting to the classics. So pretty much got to go.
Waddington's been good to you. I mean, you won an Angler of the Year title there. Why not win an elite and go to the Classic? That would be
Yeah, that'd
freaking
be sweet.
fantastic. I would like that. I would like that. Well, I mean, that's really all I got for you, Seth. I mean, this has
Is
been a
it?
nice conversation. Well, I mean, we can talk about whatever. What else has been on your mind?
I don't know. Did I bring enough fire for you? Or not
I mean, you
enough?
had some fire. You did have some fire. I mean, but I mean, I feel like there was a little fire. I mean, I don't know. Let us know. Did Seth Feider bring the fire? You always bring the fire, dude.
I don't know. You
That's
texted me last night to bring it. I don't know.
well, that's just
Maybe
a
you
little
want
pep talk
maybe
I
you
give
wanted
to
some
all you
more shit
guys.
talking. I don't know. That is
No, I'm not
okay.
looking for shit talking. I'm looking for
Okay.
real, dude. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of
That's all I
podcasts
got.
that
That's
got
all I got.
a lot of shit talking. I think the world's
Yeah.
got enough shit talking right now. I think just being real and being honest is my opinion of bringing the fire. Because we're recording this in the morning. I mean, I worry with a cat like you that recording it in the morning, it might be a little sleepy.
No, I'm on my third coffee. I'm ready to roll, man.
You hammer them coffees.
Oh yeah.
How many a day?
That depends. I mean, if I'm at home, I drink quite a few more, but usually I just fill up one big thermos and hit that while I'm fishing or whatever I'm doing.
Let her rip.
Yeah.
What's your dream trip? If you could go anywhere, what is it?
Um, I'd like to fly into the Yukon and camp out and shoot a giant bull moose. That's my
Dang.
that's my dream trip.
Wow. You're camping like
You ever
legit.
been to the Yukon, Dave?
I've been to the Northwest Territories. I've been to the Arctic, but I've never been to the actual
You've been to the
Yukon.
Arctic?
No, I've been to the Arctic like 5 times. It's the
What?
most. Yeah, I love it,
Like
dude.
the North Pole?
Yeah, the Arctic Circle,
Yeah.
like where there's
Pretty
where
tough.
there's walruses and stuff in the water,
Really?
and yeah,
Killer whales?
no, I've seen killer whales. Actually, dude, some of the cool stuff I've seen in my life. On the west coast of Canada, I was shooting a coho salmon show, and we literally
BC?
seen, yeah, we seen a pod of killer whales training the little whale to hunt, and they were chasing these sea lions up on these rocks,
Yeah.
and it was one of the guy that was with us is out there every day, and he's like, you have no idea how lucky you are to see this because
Yeah.
you see a lot of humpbacks and a lot of different whales from a distance, but you don't see. And you do see a lot of killer whales, but you just don't see them hunting like they do. And it's really ruined my life, to be honest, because I love to snorkel and there's no killer whales in freshwater, but I still envision every single day I snorkel the little string from my wetsuit comes around to my peripherals. Because when you see, dude, there's no shot. Like the killer whale you might survive a shark attack. A killer whale is going to kill you with impact as much
Yeah,
as
but they're
anything.
they're smart. They don't attack humans. They're like my favorite animal.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's going to be a dumb one.
Oh, I don't
Just
think so,
there's
man.
got to be one
I
dumb
don't
one.
think there's ever been an attack on a human.
I don't know that there has.
I believe
Probably
so.
in some of those aquariums. That's about
Oh,
it.
wow, that don't count. They're torturing them at that point. You can't
Yeah.
take an animal out of an ocean and put it in a pond. That don't work.
Yeah. An animal that's used
It's
to.
like putting a bird in a cage, man. It ain't right.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I've been to the Arctic. The Arctic is one of the coolest places on earth, dude, because it's one of the few places I've ever been. Like the two places I say that I've traveled that have been the most shocking to me is the Arctic and South America because you're just somewhere. But the cool thing about the Arctic is you're standing somewhere and you can see for miles and miles. And you're like, I am the only human being here. It's just a weird
Yeah,
space to be, but it's one of the most beautiful, beautiful places I've ever been.
yeah.
You want to go to the Arctic one time with me? Me and you will go. We'll
I'd
see
be
the
down.
Northern Lights. Oh,
Yeah. I
it
love
is
the cold,
awesome.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not going when it's real cold, dude. Trust me. We're going when I go to the Arctic. It's
Well, it's probably cold in the
August.
summer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's hoodie weather a lot. Like you're wearing a hoodie.
Oh,
It's perpetual hoodie weather. I mean, but it does get hot. Like there's days when
where are
you
you
know
talking?
what's
You talking
that?
like the edge of the Arctic Circle or like the North Pole?
No, like tug a luck tuck, dude. Like I'm
You're talking like
talking.
North Canada.
Yeah, like where there's nobody lives, like where they sell you food.
Yeah.
No joke. You go to the convenience store and a bag of chips is cheaper than a Mars bar because a Mars bar weighs more. Like everything you buy
Oh, really? It's
is,
all
yeah, like
based on
one of the
weight.
most expensive things is milk because it weighs a lot, you know?
Okay.
So all of it, like everything's priced on its weight because there's no roads, there's no nothing. Like you
Yeah.
flying to the middle of nowhere. How
I'm
I
trying to
go
pull my
is,
map up. I kind of want to look at this.
oh yeah, yeah. Let's do this. This will be no fun for anybody else. But
Fine, I don't care.
go put in Tree River, and that'll give you an idea.
Okay, so NT, that's Northwest Territory.
Northwest Territories, yeah. I
Okay,
fly
so
into,
you're on that north coast of the Northwest Territories, or are
yeah.
you up in that island region?
Well, it depends. When I'm on Great Bear, it's southern, but when we fly out to Tree River, we're up at the top where the islands are, basically.
Okay, so you're almost in like Greenland.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that considered Arctic
you're in
enough
that
for you?
island area. Yeah. I mean, you're above the Arctic Circle for sure.
I mean, the ironic thing about Tree
So
River is
what
it's
is
above the tree
technically the
line.
north? What is technically the North Pole? Is that the very tip of Greenland? Is
No, the North Pole is something different, dude. The North Pole is,
there
hold
ice
on.
where the North Pole is, or is there like
I'm sure I've
sand
never
on?
been. Let's hold on.
Like
Where?
you've heard about all the crazy stuff about the South Pole, right?
What crazy stuff?
Like you can't go there, and there's like science bases and stuff, and like you can't even get images on it.
The North Pole is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, so there's
So
probably
it's,
ice there, right?
yeah. The ice is about 2 to 3 meters, 6 to 10 feet thick. The depth
Okay,
of the ocean at the North Pole is more than 4,000 meters, 13,123 feet. The Canadian
okay,
territory of Nunavik lies closest to the North Pole. So we've
really?
flown into Nunavik to do grayling and stuff. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Okay.
I used to
That's
do,
crazy because looking on my map, it shows like the tip of Greenland being like way further north than the Northwest Territory.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you, dude, there's weird things that happen up there though, too. Like, drones and stuff. You can't fly a drone. Or you can fly it, but you got to fly it. Like there's no compass or anything. Nothing works. Like you're just flying a drone, and then all of a sudden the drone goes boom and takes off.
Really?
When we go up there in the summer, it doesn't get dark, but for an hour at night, like it is daylight till 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it kind of gets dusky, and you have like an hour or two of dark, but it's daylight all day. I've never been there in the dark.
Yeah.
They, you know what happens up there too? Yellowknife. If you fly into Yellowknife, that's where you fly in to get to there. You're like, there's hotels everywhere. It's like a little, and
Really?
you're like, why is there such big hotels here? When it's dark, but when they have those months where it's totally dark, it is nothing but Asian tourists. I guess it's a big thing, like to be under the Northern Lights. So they show
Okay.
me pictures where the streets are just lined with people. Like think of, when you see images of New Year's Eve in Times Square and you
Yeah.
see all these people, just massive people. That's what it's like. But everybody's just looking up at the Northern Lights. And the more time you spend under the Northern Lights, the more luck that comes your way. So
I got you.
maybe we need to bring you to the Northern
Yeah.
Lights.
Let's go. Yeah. Okay.
Did
Did
you?
you see him in South Carolina when we were there?
Uh-huh.
Did
Yeah,
you?
me
I
and
had not a clue till I woke up the next morning and saw pictures everywhere, which is weird because like I barely see him at my house ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I still gotta go like I mean, I'm sure Gussie sees him occasionally, but even at my house, it's super rare. So for them to be seen in South Carolina, that's got to be a once in a lifetime deal, I would think.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
Like
multiple lifetimes.
I had heard it was happening, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not even home this week because I figured, we're gonna see him here. Like, and it's rare that you see him. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you see like moving the white lights, but like to have the color. Like when you
Yeah.
see him in the Arctic, dude, it is like,
Oh yeah.
dude, it's every color and it's
Yeah.
moving. It's like
Acid
it's
trip
fake.
stuff. Yeah.
100% an acid
Yeah.
trip. Um, so I didn't expect him to be big. And me and Davey are staying together at that event, and something came about Northern Lights, and I'm like, yeah, that won't be a big deal or whatever. But then I saw a post where somebody who was there had and I'm like, Davey, the northern lights are happening here. We went outside, and me and Davey hung out on a dock on Lake Murray, all by ourselves, just two weirdos staring at the sky for hours.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. It was really cool to see. And then Andy Crawford, photographer Andy Crawford,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
he came over the next night. I've already told this story in the podcast, but it's funny. He came over the next night because he sees these pictures. I'm like, check out what we saw. And he's like, I'm coming tonight to take these pictures. And he came and they didn't happen that night. So he slept on our couch for no reasons. So world-renowned photographer Andy Crawford told me he not only in 30-day span, he not only missed the Northern Lights, but he also missed the eclipse. Never took a picture of either of them. So he's having a bad season too, I guess.
Okay. Is that a slump for a photographer?
I guess.
Yeah.
No, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. But
yeah,
his Northern Lights pictures still, and we had it all set, dude. We stole the trophy from Bass. We got the trophy. We were gonna have a picture of the trophy with the Northern Lights behind it.
Yeah.
It was gonna be wonderful, but like a lot of my ideas, it didn't pan out. But
yeah, so I'm with you.
All right. I think we've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed catching up with you, Seth.
Yeah. See you in sweaty Alabama.
Oh gosh.
You been calling sick for that one?
Maybe.
I would.
Dude, I can't call in sick after you ask me if I'm going to call in sick on a podcast.
Just edit it out of the podcast.
I can't do that either.
Cut it. Clip it.
All right. That's it.
Yeah, but
that's
you said you weren't going to call in sick. So then that's like your proof that like
you're right.
Calling sick, and then you just, you got a wild case of the flu in June. So that's happens all the time.
I actually do get to miss one day of Smith.
Yeah.
Because my son's graduating high school.
Oh, nice.
And yeah. Well, he's done more than me already. So I'm going to miss the first day of Smith. And when I realized it was Smith that I was missing, I was like, I mean, I like it, but it's going to be freaking hot, and I don't need another reason to sweat.
No.
All right. I'm going fishing.
Yeah, book us a couple trips to the Arctic. I'll see you up there.
All right. See you there.
Way under the Northern Lights.
I would love. Very few people I'd rather lay under the Northern Lights with than you. Okay. We'll burn a dart.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Darts under the Northern Lights. See you, buddy. I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking I forgot to ask him the question from a previous pro, and you're right. I did. I'm so bad at my job. Look, there's the list of questions I have to ask you. One question, and I didn't even follow my little list. One question is on that list. Seth Feider, thank you for jumping back on. The question is from Brandon Polnick. What would you change about yourself? If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Maybe a little more open-minded, maybe.
More open-minded.
I get a little stubborn sometimes, yeah.
How so?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of
don't go to the doctors and stuff.
Yeah. Don't listen to anybody, and yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I was nicer too sometimes. Kind of a dick.
When are you a dick?
I don't know.
When do you feel? I feel that way about myself a lot of times. Like
Sometimes
I feel like
I'll meet people and like yada, talk a little bit and like leave or whatever, and then I think about it. I'm like, that person probably thinks I'm an asshole.
Dude, I think I suffer from the same thing. Like I feel like you're so busy all the time. I always feel like I leave people and I'm like, yeah, he probably thinks I'm a dick.
Yeah.
All right. Those are good answers. Okay. Now you get the honor of asking our next guest a question without even knowing who our next guest is. Any question. You can go anywhere.
Oh. Okay. Ooh. We have no clue who the next guest is?
I don't even know who it is at this point.
You don't even know?
Okay. No.
All right. So I got to keep it pretty general. I guess it would be, what superpower would you like and why?
Okay. I got that. I got
That'd be a
that.
better question than what would you change about yourself? Well, next question's gonna.
From Brandon, like asking a question like that goes like where you're like, I wish I was more open minded and less of a dick. Like with Brandon, that would turn into a thing, like a
I suppose. Well, yeah, I could have
deeper.
ran wild with the superpowers thing.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
wish he had asked that?
You'd have got a better answer out of me.
Okay, let's try it. What would you, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Um, well, if it wasn't for bass fishing, like I'd probably like to fly. I think that'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool. But if it was currently with where I'm at right now, I wish I could like rewind time, you know. You could like stop and start and rewind time, you know, like you break one off and you like rewind 30 seconds before and like retie your line or whatever before you throw it in there or
Yeah.
like you know what I mean?
That'd be a good one. That'd be a
Or
good
like could
one.
you imagine on Murray when they came up schooling and you could rewind time?
Oh,
Like your bait would be like landing on them like right when they came up, you know what I mean? You'd just be like, "Pow."
yeah. I find here's a weird thing that I'll admit. Watching sports, I'm a bit of a sports head. So you
Yeah.
watch sports all the time and you can rewind. And now when I go to stuff, like even my son's soccer game, I'm like, I want to be able to rewind that. Like, you know what I mean? You're so used to
Yeah.
just being able to pause and rewind things. But I like the cut of your jib. I like your answers. They're good. I'll stop bothering you. I think we've done the whole show now.
All right.
Okay.
Want
Tell
me to do
Bob Cobb
round
to
two?
take it away. Oh, well, you got more?
I don't know. What do you got?
That's all I got. I
Nothing.
forgot
All
to
right.
do this, and that's
You got
why.
Bob Cobb doing voiceovers now?
Yeah, Bob. Have you ever watched this freaking podcast, Seth Feider? Like, at least
Yeah, I
pretend.
watch every episode.
You lying son. I mean, he opens and closes every single
That's
episode.
awesome. I love his voice. It brings me back to my childhood.
Yeah, you should watch the
Watching TNN.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I got things.
sure you do.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, now tell Bob Cobb to take it away.
Bob Cobb, take it away.
You nailed that part.
Yeah. Get him, Bob. All right. See you, Dave. For real
See
this
you.
time.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?